Chapter 31. The Good.4.Nothing Friend. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Translator. Noodletown Translated Editor. Noodletown Translated. It's been a long time. After recognizing the man inside, Chin Chu calmly waved. Oh shit, it's really you. You're back and you didn't even tell me. Get in. We'll find a place to catch up. Unable to say no, Chin Chu got into the black Jaguar. The owner of the Jaguar was none other than Chin Chu's childhood best friend, Gao Ran. Just as Chin Chu stepped into the car, his phone began to ring. You don't need to pick me up, I have things to do. I'll return a little bit later. Put the documents in my office and cancel my appointments this afternoon. That's all. Chin Chu hung up immediately. You went back to work at GK? Gao Ran asked with a laugh. Yeah. How long has it been? More than a week. Gao Ran tapped himself on the head. *T, if it weren't for my stupid boss sending me away to study out of town, I would have heard the news of your return a long time ago. But what the hell, man? You didn't even call me. I tried to call, but it didn't go through. Oh, right. We're not allowed to use cell phones during class, Gao Ran said, clearly happy to reunite with Chin Chu. Half an hour later. The two men sat down in an elegant tea house. The room had a charming sense of antiquity. Gao Ran asked sincerely, how long has it been? 7 or 8 years. 7 years exactly. Time sure flies. You were just a stupid kid when you left, and now you're the president of GK. Haha. You're one to talk. You were a punk on the street 7 years ago, and now you're the director of the Municipal Public Security Bureau. What a huge change, Chin Chu said, picking up the teacup. Ugh. My dad said that my grandpa was a cop and he was a cop, so now it's my turn to be one too. He doesn't care whether I get married or have kids, but he would disown me if I didn't become a cop. A family of policemen, not bad, Chin Chu said lightly. That bullsh*. T. I never wanted to be a cop. It pays so little, and there's so much to handle. If you don't get it done, you'll get scolded. Do you think it was easy for me to get to this director position? I got shot in the stomach in an anti-terrorist operation 2 years ago. I almost died. Gao Ran lifted his shirt to show Chin Chu his scars. Great. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Get out of here. Stop bullsh*ting me. I don't mind trading places with you. You can be a police director, and I'll be the president of a business empire. Sure, Chin Chu replied in a serious tone. Yeah right, I don't have any talent in business. I'll just remain as a happy.go.lucky cop. As he finished his sentence, Gao Ran picked up his teacup and took a small sip. Look at you, leaving without any notice, for 7 years no less. What's wrong with you? Do you know how much I missed you? I called your dad to get your address, but he wasn't willing to give it to me, Gao Ran whined. Yeah, that was an agreement I had with my father. I told him I wouldn't return nor contact anyone back home before the 7-year period was up. What kind of bullsh*t deal is that? I really don't understand you. No, I did it all for one person, Chin Chu said, enunciating each word. Gao Ran suddenly remembered what happened 7 years ago. He asked hesitantly, does this deal have anything to do with Huamian? Chin Chu remained silent. But his answer was obvious. I thought so. Chin Chu, why are you still hung up on a woman like her? Don't you remember how she treated you 7 years ago? Forget her and find a Caucasian girlfriend. Do you know who you are? You are the heir to GK, for God's sake. You can have anything and anyone you want, so why torture yourself over a woman? 7 years ago. It wasn't her fault. I couldn't protect her. So what are you doing now? Did you come back for her? Gao Ran looked bewildered. Qin Chu avoided the question and looked at his watch instead. I have somewhere to be, I'll catch up with you another day. Yeah, alright. Remember to keep in touch. Gao Ran got up to walk him out. When he arrived at GK, Qin Chu went upstairs and headed directly to his office. He was surprised to see a woman sitting on the sofa. At the sight of Qin Chu, she quickly got up, flashing him a beautiful smile. President Qin, you've returned. Qin Chu frowned. Chapter 32. Sexual Preference. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Translator. Noodletown translated editor. Noodletown translated. At the sight of the president's impressed gaze, Jiang Linyue immediately began to introduce herself cautiously. President Qin, I am the director of GK's luxury designs. My name is Jiang Linyue. Why are you here? Qin Chu's voice was cold. Oh, I'm here to present the newest luxury design samples of this season. This time, our department launched several new models. Put the material down, you can leave, Qin Chu interrupted Jiang Linyue ruthlessly before she could finish her sentence. President Qin, I think it would be better if I went over some of the details with you. To say that Jiang Linyue was dumbfounded would be an understatement. She felt like her attitude was extremely proper. She didn't ogle like other women, nor was she pretentious. Why was the president so unimpressed? You don't have to discuss the details with me. Discussing it with the vice president will suffice. Upon hearing Qin Chu's words, a sense of disappointment washed over Jiang Linyue. She had prepared a full speech for the young president but was cut off before she even began. You can leave now, Qin Chu ordered. Yes, President Qin. Jiang Linyue took the papers and left, very unwillingly. Before leaving, she looked back at Qin Chu, catching a glimpse of him taking off his jacket and leaning on his desk. The sight was enough to make any girl fall in love. Back then, she overcame all obstacles to be employed in GK for the sole purpose of being there when Qin Chu rises to the top. The thought of seeing him every day gave her enough happiness. After Jiang Linyue left, Qin Chu dialed an internal number. President Qin, how can I help you? Assistant Yang walked into the office respectfully. I need someone to clean my office at once. Also, next time, do not let anyone into my office. From now on, take all of my visitors to the small conference room. Yes, President Qin. Qin Chu despised the smell of perfume, and this was a fact only known to those closest to him. It wasn't because he was allergic. No, it was because the smell of artificially synthesized fragrances irritates him. Jiang Linyue was in his office for too long, and the smell of her Chanel perfume had permeated the air. Qin Chu really disliked the smell. In comparison, he much preferred the scent of hospital formaldehyde. Or maybe, he only liked the unique scent belonging to that specific person. GK's Department of Design. Jiang Linyue returned, looking dejected. Director Jiang, did you see our big boss? Is he handsome? How do you guys have time to gossip? Don't you have work to do? Jiang Linyue asked sourly. Yes, Director Jiang. The assistant secretary hurriedly closed the door and left. Sitting in her office chair, Jiang Linyue let out a disappointed sigh. Having studied abroad in Paris for 3 years, she received many design awards. Various domestic and internationally renowned corporations had offered her positions, but she adamantly chose to return to her home country. She was determined to go to C-City and work her way into GK, all because she liked Qin Chu. She had been at GK for almost 2 years, waiting for the young president's return. Jiang Linyue was both beautiful and talented, not to mention that she had a great taste in clothing. How could the president reject her? Unless the president is gay. Jiang Linyue mumbled to herself. Magazine articles often wrote about how gorgeous men were most likely gay, especially ones without a girlfriend. President Qin's face was already more than gorgeous, it was without a single bad angle, and Jiang Linue had asked many others about the girlfriend thing. Everyone responded that the president was single, giving her the confidence to get closer to him. She didn't expect herself to be rejected like that on the first try. At noon, just as Qin Chu was about to go to lunch, he received a notification on his phone. He opened up WeChat and saw that someone had posted a message in the class's group chat, "Does anyone know when Goddess Hua is getting married?" He signed up on WeChat a couple of days earlier and didn't add many contacts yet. He was only in the group because Ms. Yao had added him since the last reunion, and he didn't think that he would be able to hear news about Hua Mian in this group. Chapter 33. Calling off the wedding. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Translator. Noodletown translated. Editor. Noodletown translated. Within a few seconds, someone replied in the WeChat group. "It's been called off, they broke up," Zhu Lingling replied. As soon as she sent the message, a few more classmates curiously asked, "What happened?" "Yeah, didn't she say that they already bought an apartment together? Why would they call off the wedding? They're not going to get married if they're not right for each other. Stop asking so many questions. She saved you your wedding gift money. Oh yeah, keep an eye out for Mian and introduce her to some fine single men," Zhu Lingling jokingly replied. At that moment, Wei Dong came online and asked, "Is this for real? Don't joke around." "Of course it's real, why would I joke about something so important?" Zhu Lingling rolled her eyes. "Great, the goddess is single, now is my chance." No one knew if Wei Dong was joking or being serious. Then, the girl named Xiying Lu replied sourly, "Yeah, the goddess is single now. If you want to go after her, better hurry and not miss your chance, rich boy." Qin Chu looked at the chat silently without replying. He had no interest in anyone in the group other than Hua Mian. All of this reminded him that he had to thank Ms. Yao for their last reunion. If he didn't go all the way to New Zealand and fly Ms. Yao back to Sea City, Hua Mian might not have attended the reunion. He knew her too well. As everybody discussed and gossiped, Hua Mian suddenly came online. "Sorry, I might not be able to treat you guys to a reception. Something did happen with the wedding." "Goddess, it's fine. It's that guy who had missed out. Being single is great, huh? Goddess Hua, why not give me a chance?" Wei Dong said, unclear whether he was joking or not. "Mian, aren't you supposed to be working today? You must be pretty free, considering you're on WeChat," asked Zhu Lingling. I just assisted with a surgery, and the head nurse gave me the day off." "Ha, that's not bad for the old hag. Let's go eat tonight then, I'm free." "Bring me along, I'll pay and you guys can choose the location," Wei Dong interjected. "Maybe another day. Lingling, I have to go see my mother at the hospital today." "Auntie is in the hospital. What happened?" Zhu Lingling privately messaged Hua Mian. "Nothing, it's just hypertension. It's not a big problem, don't worry about it," Hua Mian replied. Then, she got changed, bought food, and took the bus to 4th Hospital. The classmates were still questioning around in the group chat, but she was too lazy to reply. As they were classmates she rarely talked to, she didn't need to pretend that they were close. Just then, a WeChat notification suddenly popped out. It was a fund transfer of 888 yuan from Wei Dong. Attached to it was a message, "I heard that your mother is hospitalized, this is just a little something from me." Only then did Hua Mian realize that she had mentioned her mother's hospitalization in the WeChat group. She immediately declined the fund transfer. "Thanks, it's the thought that counts. You really don't have to." She had very little contact with Wei Dong over the past few years, so how could she accept his money? "Goddess Hua, are you really single now?" We broke up," Hua Mian answered honestly. "Then, can you give me a chance? Don't joke around, old friend." Hua Mian felt awkward. "I'm not joking. For real, Hua Mian, I've liked you for a long time. I've had a crush on you since high school. If you don't believe me, just ask my desk mate, Big Mouth Lee, because he knows. Back then, you were with Chin Chu, so I had no chance to go after you. Then, after graduation, you got a boyfriend, and I didn't want to disturb you. But, I heard from Lingling that you already have a girlfriend, Hua Mian asked back. I have no feelings for her. She's only with me for my family's money, so when we break up, I'll just compensate her. Then, how can you be sure that I won't just date you for your money? Hua Mian asked. Chapter 34. Knowing One's Place. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 34. Knowing One's Place. Translator. Noodletown translated editor. Noodletown translated, you're not that type of person, because of what you did to Chin Chu at graduation. His family is so much richer than mine and you still broke up with him. You are obviously not a gold digger. You're funny. Thanks for the compliment, but I don't think we're right for each other. Come on, I'll treat you well. For real, Hua Mian, I promise that I'll be good to you for as long as I live. I can take care of your mother and brother for the rest of my life. Wei Dong, thank you. After replying, Hua Mian exited the WeChat application, unwilling to continue with the charade. Her heart pounded hard when Wei Dong mentioned what she did to Chin Chu at graduation. Just then, Hua Mian's phone began to ring. Lingling. Mian, I'm telling you, just ignore that scumbag Wei Dong. His personality is quite horrible, and I heard that he is always changing girlfriends. Just now, he even told me to try and convince you to marry him. He must be dreaming. Ha, he's only joking. I didn't take it seriously. He's serious, I know he's not joking. When we were in school, he always secretly put snacks in your desk and you've never noticed. I do believe that he wants to marry you, since to him, you're a goddess. But men like him are all the same, longing for what they could never get. Once you're with him for a few years, he'll get bored of you and cheat. I've seen plenty of scumbags like him. I know that, Lingling. Right, I'm just reminding you. As she hung up Lingling's call, Hua Mian noticed that she had arrived at Fourth People's Hospital. Hua Mian brought some buns and egg soup with her into the room. Mom, you must be hungry. The traffic was bad on the way here. Hua Mian smiled. Yang Meirong's face remained unpleasant as she silently took the food from Hua Mian's hands. I want to be discharged tomorrow. Hua Mian paused for a second before realizing that her mother was healthy enough to go home. I'll go ask the doctor. We'll leave as soon as your blood pressure lowers. When are you getting married? I heard Jixin say that you bought an apartment already, Yang Meirong asked unhurriedly. Although Ning Ziyuan rarely visited Yang Meirong while he dated Hua Mian, she had not given him any trouble. At most, she was unenthusiastic. We aren't anymore, answered Hua Mian, slightly biting her lip. Yang Meirong paused from eating the bun and looked up with a sharp glare. What happened? Ziyuan likes someone else now, Hua Mian answered selectively, not wanting to take the blame. She thought that her mother would be triggered upon hearing Chin Chu's name, so she did her best to avoid doing so. However, Yang Meirong sneered and asked, is it because he likes someone else? Or is it because you rekindled your love for that boy? Mom, I didn't. Hua Mian's face paled, as she did not think that her mother would be so direct. Hua Mian, I am telling you that you will have a stable life if you marry someone as average as Ning Ziyuan. It's been 7 years, and I thought you've come to know your place. I can't believe that you are still so delusional, so obsessed with that Chin Chu. I'm telling you, you're digging yourself a shallow grave. Keep in mind that his parents basically tried to kill you 7 years ago, and you're only alive because your Uncle Jing saved you. If they found out that you're still hooking up with their son, you might as well be dead. Mom, I won't. Don't be angry, Hua Mian said as she reached out to hold her mother's hand. Go away. Don't touch me, Yang Mayorong said as she threw the food onto the ground, creating loud banging noises. What's going on? A nurse rushed in. I don't want to see her, get her out of here, shouted Yang Mayorong as she pointed at her daughter. You should probably leave, the patient's mood is getting a little unstable, the nurse advised. Huamian felt horrible, she was worried about her mother but did not want to aggravate her further. She had no choice but to leave. Then, her phone began ringing again. The caller ID showed that it was the head nurse. Head nurse, is everything okay? Huamian, the director approved your request. Come to the hospital. Chapter 35. Reward. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Translator. Noodletown translated editor. Noodletown translated, okay, I'll head back now. After she left Fourth People's Hospital, she switched onto another bus to return to First People's Hospital. Inside the head nurse's office. Huamian, I've spoken to the hospital director about the request you've made, and he approved it. Here is your bonus. After she spoke, the head nurse passed her a brown paper envelope. Huamian accepted the envelope and noticed that it was quite heavy. Surprised, she asked, Head nurse, how much is in this? 20,000 yuan. That much? Huamian was shocked. The hospital director stated how crucial this operation was. The official already woke up and is recovering well. He wants to make sure that every participating hospital staff is well rewarded. Thank you, head nurse. Please also thank the director for me. You don't need to thank me, you deserved it. Plus, you've also taken quite a great risk. Huamian smiled, but she didn't say anything. With 20,000 yuan, she would be able to pay off her credit card bill and also her debt to Lingling. This was wonderful. This airy debt-free feeling was delightful. Huamian, can I ask you a personal question? Sure, head nurse, go ahead. I actually heard of what happened to you. You performed very well academically in high school, and even received many invitations and full scholarships from various medical schools abroad. Your university entrance examination score was 697 out of 700, qualifying you for Jing University, which has the best medical program in our country. However, why did you choose a local medical program? With your talent and knowledge back then, you could have become an exceptional doctor and not the ordinary nurse intern you are now. That is my own choice. I guess everyone makes different decisions, answered Huamian with a bitter smile. I've been observing you for the 6 months that you've been here. Your work ethic is great, you're quite bright and gifted, and you can understand medical principles quickly. I think it's a waste for you to continue like this. Each year, our hospital sends talented individuals to study abroad, and there's one spot for this opportunity in our department. Applications start in July of this year, and you will get the chance to spend 8 months in Canada. If you're interested. Thank you, head nurse, but I really don't need it. Let someone else have this chance, I'm just an ordinary nurse. After she finished, Huamian bowed to the head nurse with great respect and then turned around to leave. The head nurse looked at Huamian as she walked away, and she was a bit confused. She didn't understand why an unbelievably talented youth like her would choose to kill her own dream. On the other side of town, inside the president's office at GK headquarters. A middle-aged man dressed in a black suit sat on the sofa and faced Qin Chu, who was sitting across from him. He was the middle-aged man who arrived with 8 special agents at the Qin Manor that morning to pick Qin Chu up. Dr. Qin, the official's surgery went extremely well. After the critical period last night, our military aircraft already transported him back to Jing City to rest and recover. Please allow me to thank you on behalf of the official. I am also following the official's orders to speak with you, and to find out if there's anything we could help you with. Are you offering me a reward as a thank you? Qin Chu replied with a question of his own. Yes, I am. If there's anything you need, let us know, and we'll do our best. Then what do you suppose I lack right now? Chin Chu asked again. The middle-aged man froze and had no clue how to respond. As the president of GK Corporation, Chin Chu really didn't seem like someone who was in need of anything. After a while, the middle-aged man took out an envelope of files and set it on the table. With a light cough, he said, "Someone as prestigious as you indeed lacks nothing, but we found out that you, 27 years old, do not have a girlfriend. Therefore, we've especially compiled a file of all the socialites who live in the 3 nearby provinces. They all have dignified family backgrounds and are exceptionally beautiful. Please look through these files closely, and let me know if you like any of them. I'll make sure to take care of it." "So, you mean that your boss's reward for me is to help find me a girlfriend?" asked Chin Chu coldly after laying eyes on the files. Chapter 36. Fame and Fortune. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Translator. Noodletown translated editor. Noodletown translated, in theory, you could say so, said the middle-aged man sternly, although a little awkwardly. It frustrated him to speak with this kid, who also happened to be a young doctor and the president of a business empire. "Then can you tell me, who in the world told you that I don't have a girlfriend?" Chin Chu asked the middle-aged man as he crossed his arms and stared at him. The middle-aged man froze for a second. Then, he immediately took out another set of documents, looked it over, and raised his head to respond, "We did some research, Dr. Chin. Over the past few years, we noticed that you were not overly intimate with any women. Then why didn't you just suspect that I was gay?" Chin Chu continued to ask. "Because according to our investigations, you haven't had much contact with any men as well," the middle-aged man responded with great sincerity. Chin Chu was left speechless. It seemed like these people had conducted quite a thorough investigation of him. They had even looked into all of the men and women around him, perhaps also investigated all but his ancestors. "Take these documents away, I don't need any socialites," said Chin Chu pridefully. He wasn't desperate to the point of going on blind dates yet, was he? Maybe he didn't have 100 women falling for him over the past few years, but at least 80 women had proclaimed their love for him. These admirers came in various forms, but they all failed to meet his standards. "Why are you refusing? This is our official's way of showing gratitude." "Then let me ask, does your official have the right to kidnap a woman, and force her into marrying me?" Chin Chu asked in all seriousness. The middle-aged man's lips slightly twitched at his question. "I don't think so." No matter how powerful his boss was, he still could not lawfully kidnap someone and force her into marriage. It was strictly forbidden, as the country valued human rights. "Then forget it. I am in love with someone, but since you guys can't kidnap her and make her marry me, then there's no need to say anything else. Then perhaps we can help in other ways." "It's fine, I don't need any help, you are free to go." Chin Chu invited his guest to leave. The middle-aged man sighed slightly and thought, "This young kid didn't even tell me what he wanted, how am I supposed to return to my boss without accomplishing my mission?" Therefore, he decided to take matters into his own hand. 3 days later. C City suddenly released an official statement. 3 days ago, a certain high-level official visited Jing City to examine the city's economic situation. The official expressed his satisfaction towards one of the leading enterprises, GK Corporation, after an in-depth visit. After the release of this statement, major media outlets began reprinting and reposting it. At the same time, GK Corporation stocks grew by 25% by the end of that day. Qin Yuman was overwhelmed with joy when he saw this news. It seemed like handing GK over to his son was the right choice. He had no clue how his son managed to come into contact with this certain Jing City official, but his corporation definitely benefited from it. In the evening. It was already 8:30 p.m. when Chin Chu returned home. "Chu, have you eaten yet?" Mrs. Chin asked enthusiastically. "I have," replied Chin Chu as he headed towards the stairs. "Chu, I saw the news today, and you've clearly proved me wrong. I'm very curious as to how you came into contact with this mysterious official, Qin Yuman asked formally as he laid down the newspaper. With my life on the line. Qin Chu turned around to head upstairs after this brief answer. It was the truth. If something wrong happened during that surgery, then he would have ended up in jail and been forced to eat rice gruel for the rest of his life. Many admired, were envious or even hated one's exceptional exterior, but only a few knew how much effort was put in behind one's radiant fa. What is with his attitude? Qin Yuman was angry. Yuman, our son is very busy with work lately, please understand. The corporation is now developing at a stable pace, isn't this what you've wanted the most? Mrs. Qin spoke in favor of her son. At First People's Hospital. During her night shift, Hua Mian just happened to come across Ning Ziyuan in the hall. He seemed to have just gotten off work. He was in a blue T-dot shirt, paired with beige khakis and white sneakers. He looked quite clean and put together. On that note, she had forgotten that they hadn't seen each other for several days. Hua Mian, he stopped her. She raised her head and looked at Ning Ziyuan with calm eyes, as if she was looking at any other colleague. Ning Ziyuan was somewhat disappointed at Hua Mian's reaction, as he thought that she would have been at least happy to see him. Did you need me for something? Hua Mian asked calmly. Chapter 37. Police Station. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Translator. Noodletown Translated Editor. Noodletown translated, oh, nothing, I suddenly remembered that I left some things at our old place. You can give it to me when you have the time. Okay, I'll look around when I get back, Hua Mian nodded and replied. You could just give it to He-Man, Ning Ziyuan added, just to piss her off. However, Hua Mian wasn't surprised at all when she heard this. Instead, she casually responded, sure. Then, Hua Mian walked right past him. Ning Ziyuan suddenly felt uncomfortable. He would be lying if he claimed that he had no feelings left for Hua Mian. After all, it took him a while before she agreed to go out with him. They had been together for 3 years, and he had always treated her very well. Now that they suddenly broke up, it was only natural for him to be upset. He originally thought that Hua Mian must have felt terrible as well, since he was now dating He-Man. Yet, there were clearly no signs of heartbreak in Hua Mian's expression back there. Could this mean, that in all of these years, she never truly loved him? Perhaps she only loved that ex-boyfriend of hers. Ning Ziyuan's eyes then turned colder and colder at the thought of this. Hua Mian returned home after work, and she bought some health supplements for her mother since her mother had just been discharged from the hospital. However, because her mother never appreciated her presence, she simply dropped the things off and left without even staying for dinner. Then, she returned to her rented apartment, thoroughly cleaned the place, and found the things that Ning Ziyuan had left behind. She carefully gathered his possessions and placed them in a bin, as she planned to take it with her to work the next day. Exhausted, she lied down on her bed and used her phone to transfer funds into her maxed out credit card. Thankfully it wasn't overdue, or else the fees would have been staggeringly high. Then, she sent a WeChat message to Zhu Lingling. Are you there? Yup. Give me your bank account number, I'm going to pay you back. What's the rush? I'm not in a hurry, Zhu Lingling replied. You may not be, but I am. It sucks to owe others money. Where did you get all that money? Did Ning Ziyuan return your share of the down payment? Asked Zhu Lingling. Yes, Hua Mian only vaguely answered to avoid explaining too much. She didn't want to explain that the money was a reward for being a scrub nurse during Qin Chu's surgery. Not bad. Okay, since you're this reliable, I'll lend you money without a word next time you ask. Zhu Lingling sent a smiley face over. After Zhu Lingling sent over her bank account number, Hua Mian transferred the money. After giving back what she owed, she only had 2,000 yuan left for daily expenditures. However, she felt relieved. Lying on her bed, she listened to the piano version of Pachelbel's Canon, suddenly noticing the beauty of such a simple life. Downtown, Criminal Police Department. Captain Gao, we cracked down on a brothel tonight and arrested lots of people, said a young police officer fawningly. Gao Ran patted the little cop on the shoulders and said, "Good job, good work everyone." Captain Gao, one of the clients was drunk when we arrested him. We asked him to provide a contact for bail, but he wouldn't give us a name. There is also a password on his phone and we can't unlock it, so we can't contact his family either. What should we do? Let me check this out. Gao Ran walked towards the detention room. He walked in to see a young man with red cheeks, and the smell of alcohol pierced his nose. Gao Ran frowned. Where are his belongings? Bring them to me. Here, Captain Gao, the little cop handed him a cell phone. Gao Ran swiped up and noticed that the phone requested a fingerprint passcode. Without another word, he walked over to the drunkard, took his finger, and pressed it onto the phone. The little cop on the side raised his thumb and complimented, "Our captain sure has his ways." After Gao Ran unlocked the phone, he frowned slightly when he saw an attractive woman's photo on the home screen. Hua Mian. Gao Ran mumbled to himself, not sure if he saw it right. Chapter 38. Released on bail. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Translator. Noodletown translated editor. Noodletown translated. Gao Ran recognized Hua Mian right away. First of all, she was the woman that his close friend, Qin Chu, once deeply loved. Secondly, Hua Mian hadn't changed much since high school, as she had only lost the naivety from back then. He still remembered when Qin Chu dated Hua Mian 7 years ago. They would often hang out and have dinner together. Back then, Gao Ran's girlfriend was also one of the prettiest girls in their class. Qin Chu would bring Hua Mian along, and the four of them would grab food together quite often. Now that he recalled these things, it seemed like ages had gone by. Gao Ran flipped through the drunk's phone, and, sure enough, he found Mian in his contact list. Gao Ran guessed that this must be Hua Mian and that this man definitely had an intimate relationship with her since he was using her photo as his wallpaper. Just then, Gao Ran suddenly had an idea. He turned to the short cop beside him and asked, "Did you search for his ID? What's his name?" "Yes, Captain Gao, his name is Ning Ziyuan." "Okay." Then, Gao Ran took the phone, walked out of the custody cell, and dialed Hua Mian's number. Meanwhile, Hua Mian was listening to music, already half asleep. It was already 11:30 p.m. She hazily woke up as her phone rang, but when she saw that it was from Ning Ziyuan, she hesitated before picking it up. "Ziyuan, what's up?" Her tone was slightly distant. "Hello, are you Miss Hua Mian?" Gao Ran spoke formally. "I am. May I ask who you are?" "I'm the captain of the Downtown Criminal Police Division. We have arrested a John named Ning Ziyuan during our anti-prostitution mission tonight. Is he your friend? We found your contact information on his phone." Gao Ran deviously emphasized the word John 1. Hua Mian was shocked. "John. Ning Ziyuan. How is that possible?" "Miss Hua Mian, are you still there?" asked Gao Ran. "I am. Ning Ziyuan is your friend, right?" "Yes," Hua Mian replied. "Then can you come right now to bail him out?" After a brief moment, Hua Mian slowly responded, "Okay, I'll head over now." After the call ended, with a devilish smile on his face, Gao Ran took out his phone to dial another number. Qin Chu was a night owl, and he often reviewed company documents and statistics at night in his study room. After that, he would have some coffee and analyze the stock market. "Hello. Chu, this time you must treat me to a good meal. Now. What time is it?" Qin Chu looked at his watch. "It's already midnight. What is wrong with this idiot? Come to my police station right now, I have a surprise for you." I'm not interested, Qin Chu immediately refused. Gao Ran was left speechless for a second. Don't regret it then. I'm telling you that if you don't come right now, you'll miss an exciting scene. Hua Mian will be here soon. Who? Qin Chu's interest was fully aroused upon hearing Hua Mian's name. Hurry up and get over here. It'll be a pity if you miss this. Gao Ran immediately hung up the phone after he finished talking. Qin Chu got up, changed his clothes, and drove his Audi R8 towards downtown. Hua Mian was nowhere to be seen when Qin Chu arrived at the station. Gao Ran stood at the door, and stated triumphantly, "Just wait, Hua Mian will be here soon." What is happening? It's already very late. Why would she come to a police station at this hour? Qin Chu hurried over, not because he wanted to see Hua Mian, but because he was worried. Why would a girl like Hua Mian come to a place like this so late? Was she in trouble? Just as Gao Ran was about to respond, he saw a slim girl walk in. Her long black hair and a beige sweater made her look very attractive. Qin Chu also noticed, his eyes immediately looked towards the door. "Hello, I just received a call. I'm here to bail Ning Ziyuan out." Hua Mian's voice sounded slightly hoarse, and she didn't look like she was feeling well. Chapter 39. Framed. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Translator. Noodletown translated editor. Noodletown translated, "Okay, come over and fill out this form." One of the cops led Hua Mian to the side. Qin Chu was silent, no one could tell what he was thinking about. So crazy, right? I didn't even think it would be so coincidental, but who knew that Hua Mian's boyfriend would be amongst the Johns we had just arrested? They broke up already, Qin Chu calmly said. How did you know that? Your news is sure up to date, laughed Gao Ran. Qin Chu fell silent, but his eyes never left Hua Mian. After Hua Mian paid 2,000 yuan in bail, she sighed. The last 2,000 yuan left over from her bonus was gone now. Luckily, she was getting paid in several days, or else she wouldn't be able to survive. After she paid the money, she went into the cell. Ning Ziyuan was still drunk and had already dozed off. There were red lipstick prints on his clothes. She understood that he had started dating He Man out of spite. However, Ning Ziyuan at a brothel. That was completely unexpected, since he had always appeared to be a gentleman. You can take him home now. Teach him a good lesson, why would he do such a thing with such a pretty girlfriend? He really is taking you for granted, the cop went on incessantly. Hua Mian nodded awkwardly. Then, she pulled Ning Ziyuan up with all her might, and dragged him out. Qin Chu immediately lost his cool when he saw Hua Mian holding up the drunk Ning Ziyuan as they walked out. Let me. Before Hua Mian could respond, Qin Chu pulled Ning Ziyuan over and held him up himself. Why are you here? Hua Mian was incredibly surprised to see Qin Chu. Are you also one of the arrested, Johns? Hua Mian's face gradually turned pale. If finding out that Ning Ziyuan was at a brothel had only disappointed her, then knowing Qin Chu also being there would devastate her. Are you kidding me? Qin Chu's face grew grim as he looked at Hua Mian and responded. Just then, Gao Ran immediately walked over and explained, I called Chu over, I wanted to show him what his ex-girlfriend's current boyfriend was like. Hua Mian saw Gao Ran and looked at his police uniform. Then, she immediately realized what was happening. She laughed mockingly, do you having nothing else to do? What are you talking about? Gao Ran replied with a wronged look. Before he finished speaking, Hua Mian turned around and walked out in anger. Qin Chu dragged Ning Ziyuan and followed her out. They are so odd, I don't even know if I did a good thing or not, Gao Ran said to himself as he stroked his chin. After they walked out of the police bureau, Hua Mian turned around and said, okay, give him to me. What do you plan to do? Are you going to take him back to your place? Where else am I supposed to take him? Asked Huamian in response. No, I won't allow it, Qin Chu said grimly. Huamian felt baffled. Qin Chu, you have no say in the matter. Firstly, we're not dating. And secondly, I'm just here to bail Ning Ziyuan out, as a friend. Say no more, I'll make arrangements for him. Then, ignoring her objection, Qin Chu shoved Ning Ziyuan into his Audi R8. Hey, where are you taking him? Asked Huamian anxiously. To throw into the ocean and feed the sharks. Qin Chu drove away at a great speed. Chapter 40. Back in the days. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Translator. Noodletown translated editor. Noodletown translated. Huamian was left alone standing in front of the police station, as the wind was blowing her hair into a terrible mess. She was the one that had bailed Ning Ziyuan out, so what was all this about? As Mian was torn between taking a taxi, which was too expensive, or taking a bus to First People's Hospital, the Audi R8 actually came back, just like magic. It had taken less than 5 minutes to leave and come back. Get in. How can you be back so soon? Where is he? He is in the hotel up ahead, Qin Chu answered. Huamian was speechless. Qin Chu's efficiency was truly. Hurry up, get in. Huamian stopped dawdling, opened the door, and got into the passenger seat. After a few silent moments, she slowly asked, Did you set up everything that happened today? Qin Chu's hands slightly paused on the steering wheel. He turned his head and glanced at her. You think I did this to him? Huamian didn't answer. You think I would do something so absurd? Qin Chu asked again. Huamian remained silent. But Qin Chu was right, someone like him would not do something like this under the table. On the other hand, Gao Ran seemed like someone who would pull a stunt like this. After all, in Huamian's mind, he was always a restless guy, even 7 years ago. You might not, but your bro might. The side of Qin Chu's mouth twitched. You think that the captain of the Municipal Public Security Bureau would frame a normal citizen by arresting and accusing him of patronizing whorehouses? He's a captain now. Huamian was surprised, as she never thought that Gao Ran would make it that far. Now that she thought about it, it didn't make much sense for the captain of a bureau to do something like this. Even more, every time he was dispatched on a case, he would be surrounded by cops. If he wrongly accused someone, people would gossip. That wouldn't be a wise move. Most importantly, as Huamian was filling out forms just then, she thought back to the policeman's reminder. He said, Miss, your boyfriend is a repeat offender. It's not the first time he went whoring. When you get home, you'll have to sort him out. Huamian was a little shocked by what she heard. She never thought that Ning Ziyuan, who was so gentle and mild, would actually be a repeat offender of soliciting prostitutes. Even if he was putting on a show, it was too much. Besides, doctors were supposed to be clean freaks, right? How could he stomach sleeping with a prostitute? The more Huamian thought about it, the more depressed she got. She decided that she would be better off not talking, so she turned her head aside to look out at the night view. She never thought that one day, she could sit in Qin Chu's car again and be alone with him, traveling in the dim light of the night as if it was 7 years ago. The Audi R8 actually took less than 20 minutes to drive back to her apartment, but she felt like it took several hours. Honestly, she didn't dare to face Qin Chu. Although she hated him, she knew clearly that sometimes, hate was born of love. Otherwise, he would have been just a stranger to her when they met again. Why else would her heart beat so erratically? Mian, he gently called her name. Huamian turned her head, her eyes blurry. Maybe it was the atmosphere that night that completely tossed her heart about. How have you been these past 7 years? Qin Chu had been holding this question for a while now. How was she for the past 7 years without him around?